For 15 years, a phantom haunted the Liga, a silent predator in the midfield who could dismantle you without ever breaking a sweat. Sergio Busquets didn't just play, he drifted. He chose surgical interceptions over reckless tackles, ruling as the shadow king of the Camp Nou. But looking at his legacy in Barcelona, while he lacked explosive speed, his mental processing and ball control were otherworldly. The man was a pure genius. When he finally moved on, every team in Spain let out a massive breath of relief. Rivals believed the terror had passed, assuming Barcelona would spend a decade lost in a tactical desert, burning millions on aggressive enforcers who couldn't grasp the complex geometry of the pitch. At first, it seemed they were right. We witnessed the panic and the failed experiment with Romeu. We watched Andries Christensen struggle as a makeshift midfielder and the desperate, fruitless hunt for modern Zubimendi. That defensive pivot spot turned into a graveyard where elite reputations went to be buried. Then came February 7th, 2026 against Mallorca. Spain realized their celebration was a mistake. The nightmare didn't die. It mutated. Now Bernal charges forward, shifts to his left, and strikes. Marc Bernal makes it 3 for Barca, slamming the door shut on this one. Bernal's rise isn't just a reboot of the Busquets era. It is something far more terrifying for the rest of the world. Imagine the tactical EQ of Busquets, trapped inside the powerhouse frame of Rodri, armed with a left foot that finds impossible passing lanes. While the media drools over the latest Galactico in Madrid, a cold, calculated revolution has taken hold in Catalonia. Marc Bernal is evolving into the exact monster La Liga feared most. He is a physical freak of nature who truly masters the art of the pause. Tonight on 11 Guards, we're performing a forensic breakdown of his comeback, analyzing the injury that nearly shattered his dreams, the sabbatical that sharpened his mind, and the tactical truth behind Barcelona's new £100 million anchor. To grasp how vital Bernal has become, you first have to survey the wreckage he's currently rebuilding. Post-Busquets, Barcelona's middle third was a hollow shell, what I call the donut of despair. It was a massive tactical black hole without a true anchor. The defense was too scared to press high, while the playmakers, Pedri and Gavi, were forced to drop into the mud just to find the ball. The connection was dead. Xavi attempted to fix the leak with pure nostalgia. Hansi Flick tried a pragmatic double pivot with Frenkie de Jong and Marc Casado. It worked temporarily, but lacked the surgical geometry needed for world-class football. The problem wasn't a lack of heart. It was a lack of spatial logic. Holding down the pivot at Barca is the toughest gig in sports. You must receive the ball blind, with 3 defenders breathing down your neck, and deliver a perfect strike. Romeu had the muscle but was too slow mentally. Christensen had the brains but lacked the 360-degree vision. De Jong is a runner, not a stationary anchor. For 2 years, Barcelona tried forcing square pegs into the most vital round hole in their entire formation. They were hemorrhaging goals on the break because the defensive lock was broken. The twist is that the answer wasn't in some high-priced transfer. It was born in the lab. Marc Bernal didn't cost a single cent. Yet, his profile is worth more than any check Joan Laporta could ever sign. He is the ultimate hard reset for the system. Dig into the data, and you'll see why the Busquets comparisons fall short. Sergio stood 1.89 meters, but was incredibly thin. He survived on pure trickery. Marc Bernal's 1.93 meters, 6'3", and he's still getting bigger. Physically, he is the Catalan version of Rodri in today's high-octane pressing game. Being smart isn't enough. You have to be a wall. Bernal is the first true physical shield Barcelona has owned since Yaya Toure. When he anchors that ball, defenders literally bounce off his frame. That raw power lets him hold the midfield alone against Europe's elite. But his real lethal weapon, that left foot. Here is why that matters: geometry. Most defensive traps are built to corner right-handed players. When a left-footed anchor takes the ball, the entire logic of the passing lanes flips. Bernal can open his body and fire a laser directly to the right wing for Lamine Yamal. That is a pure cheat code. He doesn't even need to look. His natural arc puts Yamal into open space in a heartbeat. It creates an uneven threat that defenses simply cannot shift fast enough to stop. Look at this play from the Mallorca match. This is the art of the pause. Most giants move like cargo ships. Heavy, slow, and easy to read. Bernal pivots with the grace of a prize fighter. He kills the ball dead, commanding the pitch. He baits the defense, waiting for a twitch. That icy hesitation brings the entire backline to a grinding halt. A sharp-shouldered dip, and he's gone. Slicing the lines, he's a freak of nature. a titan's frame guided by a dancer's touch. But look closer at the scars. This rise to glory was nearly buried before it even began. August 2024, away at Rayo Vallecano. A cursed ground for Barca's elite, right at his breaking point. Starting at just 17, his ankle gave out. It's the one injury that strikes fear into the heart of the game. For 13 months, Marc Bernal was a ghost, while Lamine Yamal conquered the world and lifted the Copa Trophy. Bernal was trapped in a room, unable to even dress himself. An Altair at 17 is often a career killer. That mental block, when planting your foot, breeds a doubt that ruins deep-lying playmakers. But Hansi Flick refused to let him fade away. Flick was there. He handed him mental conditioning playbooks and kept him locked into every tactical briefing. Bernal didn't just rot on a sofa. He obsessed. He scrutinized every Barca match from the rafters, dissecting the midfield's pulse. He didn't waste a year. He earned a doctorate in spacing. By his return in September 2025, the fragile boy was gone. In his place stood a tank with 5 kilograms of fresh, explosive muscle. He returned meaner, sharper, and alight, dropping an assist 5 minutes into his comeback. Wasn't just luck, it was a warning. That missing year was a calculated evolution. But narratives can be deceptive. The cold, hard numbers tell a much scarier story. We've dissected Marc Bernal's statistical profile since September 2025, pitting him against titans like Rodri and the legendary Sergio Busquets. The anomaly is staggering. Even at his peak, Busquets only won 48% of air duels. He was a low-altitude master. Bernal is crushing 72% of his battles in the air. He turns opposition goal kicks into offensive fuel. He literally erases the long ball game. He isn't just holding the midfield. He's a strategic watchtower. The number that should haunt Real Madrid's dreams, however, is his tally of line-splitting daggers. Modern football rewards the bold, while most prospects play it safe to pad their stats with sideways passes. Bernal fires 8.4 progressive passes every 90 minutes. He's in the 99th percentile of European midfielders. In the Mallorca clash, his vision eliminated 56 opponents in a single match. Every time he looked up, he effectively removed 5 defenders from the equation. He doesn't just keep the ball, he dismantles defensive structures. And then there's this season's most insane metric. Through 630 minutes of La Liga action, Marc Bernal hasn't lost the ball once. Think about that. 0, press him, double team him, or hack him down. You simply cannot take that ball legally. He's a human vault. When your anchor is this immune to pressure, your whole squad becomes untouchable. Flash forward to February 7th, 2026, Barca 3, Mallorca 0. While the mainstream press obsessed over his long-range screamer, a shot Busquets rarely attempted, we saw something deeper. But you know the deal. Goals are just the window dressing. The real substance is in the flow. Dissect the tape from that night. 0 turnovers. Absolute perfection under fire. Against a relentless high press. He was untouchable for 90 minutes. He wasn't just passing. He was masterminding the game's psychology. He neutralized Mallorca's aggression by bleeding the clock with possession. When they retreated, he punched holes in their defense with lethal, vertical service. He dictated the rhythm for 21 other players. That's unheard of for an 18-year-old. And look at the fallout. Frenkie de Jong was finally unleashed with Bernal anchoring the ship. He could roam and spark chaos. Knowing the defense was on lockdown, Bernal covers so much ground he lets Barca field 5 attackers at once. He's a total force multiplier. The savior Barca fans were promised is finally standing on the pitch. We're witnessing the birth of the Holy Trinity 2.0. Pedri provides that Iniesta-level sorcery. Gavi provides the raw aggression, and Bernal, he provides the absolute composure of a prime Busquets. It's a flawless machine, magic grit and structure, and the wildest part, they aren't even in their mid-20s. While Chelsea splashes over 100 million on a pivot, and Arsenal breaks the bank for one. Forget Declan Rice. Barcelona just unearthed a world-class anchor in their own academy kitchen. No check was signed. They invested pure patience and unshakable faith through those grueling months of recovery. Management locked him down with a €500 million wall. He's off limits. They know they're reholding gold. He's the very bedrock of the arena. But wait, we've witnessed these fake miracles many times. Plenty of hype prospects collapsed under the Camp Nou spotlight. Yet Bernal feels distinct. The stats prove it. The visuals back the numbers. He isn't just a placeholder. He's resurrecting their soul. Barcelona's scars are finally closing. The squad's backbone is hardening into iron. Spain feared the day Barca would discover a successor to Busquets. They were dead wrong. It's actually worse. They found a Busquets who can physically crush opponents. Now, let's talk. Is Bernal already the premier holding midfielder across all of Spanish football? Must he survive the Champions League gauntlet first? Give us your final judgment down below. We catch every take. If you crave unvarnished analysis and the grit major networks ignore, you rehome, protect the legacy, fight for the sport, hit subscribe and toggle notifications. You are watching 11 Guards.